Hi Lakers, and welcome to Feel Good Friday. My name is Stephanie Green, one of the doctoral interns over at the Counseling Center, and for today's Feel Good Friday, I'd like to focus on journaling as a form of self-care. So journaling is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I'm sure that you know what it is, maybe you've done it before, but there are really positive impacts of journaling that I'd like to share before we get into tips and tricks and how to do it. So there's a lot of research that shows the positive impacts journaling has on our mental health. It can help us manage our anxiety, reduce our stress, cope with depression. In writing about these emotions can help us reduce the intensity of these feelings and what we're going through. It also serves as a healthy way to express our emotions, particularly when we're feeling overwhelmed by them, or when we're having a hard time understanding our emotions or what it is that they're trying to tell us. So why is journaling helpful, other than what I just shared about our mental health? Well, journaling is simply writing down our thoughts and feelings, but this can help us to understand our thoughts and feelings a little bit better. It can help us prioritize our problems, identify fears or concerns that we're having, and work through them a bit. If you're consistent with your journaling, doing it every day or as often as you can, it can help us to start noticing patterns. We can start tracking our symptoms and noticing maybe what triggers our symptoms, what situations cause us to feel anxiety, or times that we notice the depression getting worse. And then we can also start noticing what helps and what doesn't help. What are the things that we notice that are in those patterns that are helping to manage those symptoms a little bit better or aren't so helpful. Writing down how we're feeling and what we're thinking can also really help clarify how we're thinking and feeling. So if you're ever feeling a little bit jumbled up about kind of anything, maybe you're unsure of what you want, unsure of how you feel, being able to write it down can help you get in touch with your inner self and in touch with what those emotions are. Journaling can also be a space that allows us to confront emotions that maybe we are avoiding or haven't been attending to as well as we should, and can help us process difficult events or see more sides of an issue or situation. It can also help us create a narrative of an experience that makes a little bit more sense. Journaling can be a space to explore positive self-talk, can help us identify negative thoughts and negative behaviors and start challenging some of those things. It can be a space that we work on problem solving, giving ourselves some of the answers that we're looking for. And overall, it really just helps you to understand yourself better, understand your emotions better, understand who you are a little bit better. So some tips for journaling that make it a little bit more helpful, a little bit more impactful. Number one is consistency. So if you can, really try to do a little bit of journaling each day. This is something that you really want to set some time aside for yourself. Make sure you kind of put it into your schedule, build it into your routine of every day for maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to set this time aside to really write down what's going on. Number two is make sure that it's easily accessible. So however you are trying to journal, whether it's in a notebook or on your computer or on an app on your phone, make sure that it's easily accessible. So once you get to that designated journaling time or a moment where you really feel like I really could use some journaling right now, if you have it easily accessible in a spot that you kind of see it or that you're near every day, that'll make it a little bit more easy to continue with the consistency, right? If we see it, we're probably a little bit more likely to do it. Number three is privacy. You really want to make sure that you have a space that's designated for your journaling, a space that's away from other people, that is private and personal and really free of distractions as much as it can be. And you also want to have a safe and protected location for your journal, right? So whether it's a physical journal, physical notebook, making sure that you have somewhere that you can put it that will be safe and secret from other people. If it's on your phone or on your computer, using an app or notes or Word document that can be password protected so that you can make sure that whatever you're writing down is for your eyes only and that you don't have to worry about other people finding this. The next tip is probably what I think is maybe the most important, is remember that this journal is for you, right? This is just for you. So don't worry about what should or shouldn't go in a journal. There's no pressure to be journaling well or, being the best journaler in the world, this is really a space for you to express yourself, right? So no should or shouldn'ts, no worrying about grammar or spelling, and no worrying about what other people might think if they read it, or what other people's reactions would be to what you're writing down. This is really, again, just for you. And it doesn't have to have a certain structure, right? There doesn't have to be kind of like a certain way you do it. It really can just flow freely. What can be helpful is just really writing down whatever emotion or situation that's been kind of sitting with you lately, writing down your current thoughts, your current emotions, writing out some of your goals, some of your fears, some of your experiences. And it can be really helpful in this time to use I statements, writing down things such as I feel, I think, I want, and filling in the blanks. And then after your journaling, it can be helpful to set some time aside afterwards to reflect and process on your journaling. Take a moment to really take in what it is that you wrote down, and just give yourself some time to really take in all that information and process it for a little bit. Some people might find that it's beneficial to go back later and revisit some old journal entries and reflect on them again, which for some, that can be really helpful. But you don't always have to do that. If it feels like once I got it out, I never want to see it again, that's okay too. Again, this is your journal. You're going to make with it what works best for you. So when it comes to journaling, there are some kind of different methods. So one can just be grabbing a blank notebook or a notes app on your phone or a Word document on your computer and just freely writing, kind of like what we said, using the I statements or just writing whatever's on your mind and just freely writing. For some people, that might be difficult. It might feel like, where do I start? What do I write? I don't know what to talk about. And for that, what can be helpful is using some journaling prompts. There are plenty of journals that you can buy that already come with prompts in them. I actually have one right here. This one is 300 writing prompts. This one I bought at Target for like $10, super easy, and every page has a different journaling prompt at the top. Some of them have two, split up a little bit shorter. And this can be really helpful to go to when I'm feeling maybe like I don't have something pressing that I want to write about, but I do want to write about something and get some of those benefits that we talked about earlier. So coming through, and I don't usually go in order, I just pick a page that feels right in that moment, a question that feels like I would like to answer in that moment, and answering whatever that prompt is. Some examples of prompts that you can use are, what advice would you give to your younger self? I really wish others knew this about me. If my body could talk, what would it say? What inspires me is, and so on. And so these are just some of the examples that I found that I like, the book that I really like, but you can also just Google journaling prompts and get hundreds of them, and really just find what fits for you or what speaks for you in those moments. For some people, the journaling part is easy, but it's the consistency that's difficult. So something that's helpful for this, and that I found to be something that I like, even if the consistency isn't an issue, is journals that are created specifically for daily entries. Again, these are ones that you can find online, but you can also create this for yourself and come up with a daily, almost like a planner, a daily kind of calendar where you are writing something every day. So there are some that are the one-sentence journals that are specifically, you're supposed to write a sentence or two every single day. And that's another one that I have here. The Happiness Project is one example, but I've seen plenty of these. This one I got on Amazon, but I've seen them at like Schuler's Bookstore or other bookstores as well. And this one gives you each day, and you write, it's got about 4 lines where you really just write a sentence or two of maybe something memorable from that day, something that you'd like to remember, or how you were feeling that day, or whatever. And this one is a 5-year record, so I can go back and look back on my memories for the whole 5 years. So those are some of the things that I have found to be helpful. There's a lot of other kind of journaling prompts and journaling examples and things like that that you can find online if you want more. But I'd like to challenge you all to take a moment out of your day today to just take about 10 minutes and journal. Write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling, maybe what's been weighing on you. Or use one of the prompts that I gave you today to write a little bit about that. Well, I hope this was helpful and that you take the challenge to write a little bit and journal a little bit today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.